All right. Being a luncheon speaker is sometimes perilous. I've covered a lot of luncheons with guest speakers, and as Paula Deen pointed out last year when she spoke to the Atlanta Press Club, a lot of times we don't get fed, she said. She said, so I just told the driver, after the luncheon, you might want to idle up to the varsity for us. A number of years ago, I covered a luncheon with Julia Child as the guest speaker. And Julia, who wouldn't feed Julia Child at a luncheon? She ended up in the McDonald's drive-thru ordering French fries and a regular cheeseburger afterwards. So she knew the perilous pratfalls associated with lunchtime speaking. So I'm eternally grateful to Joni for feeding us all so well today. And as Dad mentioned, I've made a little bit of a transition here recently. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution was my home for many, many years. Loved the experience there. But as you all might know, newspapering has taken an interesting turn here in the new millennium. And it's some days it's about that thick, if you're lucky. So I kind of saw a lifeboat hanging off the side of the Titanic there, and nobody was around, so I kind of jumped in it. And was very, very lucky to be able to transition over to Atlanta Magazine. Sean McGinnis, the publisher, and I had started. When Dad and I were kicking around some ideas for today's talk, I thought it might be fun to do sort of an Oscars theme since the nominations came out this week. And I've been lucky enough to cover some Oscar winners throughout my career. And I've also had a really great opportunity the last 2 years to go over to Turner, over at Techwood, Turner Studios, their big complex over there off Techwood Drive in Midtown Atlanta, where I don't know how many of you know this, but that's the home of Turner Classic Movies. Do you all watch Robert Osborne on Turner Classic Movies?
Yes.
How many of you knew that he shoots all of those introductions here in Atlanta?
I didn't know you.
And what's great is they have a studio facility, and you walk in, and you know when the camera comes on, and it's 8 o'clock, and he's introducing the movie, and he's and the red leather chairs are there, and I call it Robert Osborne's swinging bachelor pad. I don't know exactly what the official name of it is, but it's a very cool sort of bachelor pad. Well, that's in Atlanta. That's all filmed, shot on location, right in Atlanta. And what's very, very cool about my job is that 2, 3, 4 times a year I get to go over and watch Robert work. He is based in New York, but he comes here once a month for an entire week. And they shoot a month's worth of those intros and outros, those little things that he does to introduce the movie and put them into context. And so I get to watch him work, and there's a whole crew there of camera. Watch their program on TCM called The Essentials on Saturday night. It's co-hosted with Alec Baldwin, the actor, and Robert Osborne. I was treated to an afternoon watching the two of them. They have created a new season of The Essentials that will debut on TCM in March. And they have gotten together, and Alec Baldwin and Robert have put together an entire new season of essential films that they're going to be talking about. And I get the call from the Turner Classic Movies PR rep, and she said, we'd like to give you an opportunity to interview Mr. Baldwin if you're interested. And of course, now when you agree to interview Alec Baldwin, it comes with a few rules. For example, you can't ask about his child rearing abilities. You can't ask about any unsavory cell phone calls he might have made to his daughter. You can't ask about his former marriage to Kim Basinger. You can't even ask about 30 Rock, the NBC sitcom that he just won an Emmy for. The only thing that Alec Baldwin will talk to you about is The Essentials and Turner Classic Movies. I said, okay, that's fine. And then the Turner Classic Movies PR rep says to me, "Oh, and Mr. Baldwin requests that you spend at least 30 minutes observing them shooting the introductions." And at this point, I said to the Turner Classic Movies PR rep, I said, "Is Mr. Baldwin aware that when I come over to the studios to watch Mr. Osborne work, you normally have to call security to taser me to get me to leave?" And she said, I don't think so. And I thought that Alec Baldwin was going to be kind of a tough cookie because he doesn't enjoy many interactions with reporters. So I didn't know how this was going to go. And so they walked me into the green room, and I walk in, and Alec Baldwin is there, and he's got two laptops. And he's answering email on one, and he's doing something on another, and he's on a cell phone call to his agent. And I thought, oh, this is not going to go well. But he could not have been nicer. We had a wonderful chat. What I love about Alec Baldwin is he clearly respects Robert Osborne very, very much. And what was fun about watching them tape introductions for the new season of The Essentials is that you can't stump Robert Osborne. He is the official historian for the Oscars. He's got it all up here. And, it's completely impossible. Other things that I've been very privileged to do in my career is we have two living, breathing Oscar winners in Atlanta who call Atlanta home. Sir Elton John, who won the Oscar for his score and his music from the huge Disney hit The Lion King. He resides on Peachtree Road. And then, of course, over there near the Carter Center, two-time Oscar winner Jane Fonda resides. And it's always a little unnerving when you go over to Jane Fonda's house and you sit on her couch and you get to interview her. And she has a dog, a little white, I don't even know what it is. It's like this little white fluffy dog that she carries everywhere with her. She's one of those people, she puts it in the purse, she carries it. I've interviewed her at cocktail parties and the dog is on her lap. And the dog's name is Talia. Talia doesn't go anywhere. She takes her on airplanes with her. And she has a cat by the name of Mouse that her grandchildren have named. Well, it's a little unnerving when you go over to Jane Fonda's house and you sit down and you interview her, and I've got my recorder out, and her cat decides to hop up on my lap and go to sleep. And I'm like, what do I do? Jane Fonda's cat is... And so I just started petting the cat, just trying to play it off, and that was, I guess, the right thing to do because she didn't kick me out or anything. But the other great thing about Jane Fonda is that she brings film premieres to Atlanta. And the last film premiere that she actually starred in was a film called Georgia Rule. And I asked her about it. She said, I've had a career in Hollywood that has spanned so long now that I'm actually starting to play grandmothers. And sure enough, she played Lindsay Lohan's grandmother in this film, directed by Gary Marshall, who also directed Pretty Woman.